Am I the a-hole for my comment to my girlfriend's sister regarding her accomplishments? So I'm 26 male, usually I'm a very quiet and respectful person. But I don't deal with my girlfriend Kelly's 26 female sister Alexa 27 female at all. I think she's a crappy person, entitled and just not my cup of tea. Alexa was dating my friend Drew when me and Kelly met. Drew was the one who actually helped me get with Kelly in the first place, so I owe the guy a lot. Drew and Alexa were living together and he was supporting her career. She was in law school and he worked full-time. I didn't find this out till after, but he took out the loans for her to go, along with using his salary to pay their housing and paying for her classes. He was really proud of her budding career. Well, about a year ago, Alexa graduated from law school and within a week, broke up with Drew. Drew was heartbroken, and I was the one who found out most of the dirt about the finances. Alexa used him for 3 years for free school and dumps him a week after she graduates. This caused shockwaves in the family. Her parents were furious and Kelly wasn't a fan of her sister for months, but eventually everyone forgave her and acted like Drew never existed. It pissed me off bad, and I haven't said a word to her sister since. I won't address her whenever I'm forced to be around her. Alexa passed the bar and landed a job, so her parents threw her a celebration. I was asked to attend by Kelly. I refused, kept refusing, but eventually she broke down and said she needed me there. So we went, and I talked to the members of her family alike, mostly my girlfriend's dad. So Alexa got up to give a speech to thank people. So as she was in the middle of thanking different people for the help they gave her, I said, "Don't forget to include Drew," loud enough the whole room heard it. It got really quiet, then her dad cracked up and her mom tried to advance the speech. My girlfriend dragged me outside and tried yelling at me, followed by her mom. The conversation wasn't going well, so I called an Uber and left. My girlfriend is demanding I apologize. I told her I'd apologize when Alexa starts paying Drew back for the debts he is in now. And until then, I wouldn't say a kind word to her sister. And I plan on telling every single guy Alexa dates the story about what she did to Drew. Because as a guy, I'd like to know that info. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. I feel not the a-hole, but you, sir, are the brother and friend everyone needs in life. Tell Drew to take his ex to court. Might be able to get some of the money back. Drew made a decision to take out those loans. That's on him. It would at least smear her name with other attorneys. Drew should sue. Not the a-hole, but it really wasn't your place to do it at a party. But dang, kudos to you for that great line. You know, secretly everyone must have loved it except Alexa. For your own benefit, remember that your girlfriend didn't choose to have Alexa as her sister, but family's family and she's got to live with it. Honestly, I can't believe the parents threw her a party. What she did was so blatantly scummy. Me neither. I called it trashy to my girlfriend and her mom during the fight. Like, why would you celebrate this person? Prestige apparently trumps teaching your kid to be a decent person. Not stay home. Look closely at your girlfriend if she thinks this kind of behavior is okay. Starting to. Her being this supportive of her sister is a huge red flag to me. Next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not allowing my girlfriend's sister to move in and changing the locks?" So, a really messy situation. I, 27 male, have been dating my girlfriend Ashton, 26 female, for 2 years and we live in the house that I own. Ashton's finishing up her master's program, so I don't charge her rent. I pay for all the housing expenses, and in return she chips in on groceries, utilities, and some of the household chores. But I pay the lion's share of all household expenses. I'm cool with the situation till she graduates, and we have always communicated well. Until now. So Ashton has a hot and massive sister named Anna, 28 female. Anna's burned most of her bridges with her family. She has 2 kids by 2 different dads, been married and divorced twice, hops from one sketchy boyfriend to another, always in and out of work, and always complaining about her situation instead of actually doing anything to solve it. I gave up on her last year when she dated this loser who obviously didn't like kids, but she kept dating him against me and her sister's advice. Well, she moved into his place, and this Saturday we got a call that they were breaking up and she had nowhere to go this time. She hadn't been working and didn't have rent money. Ashton asked me if we could take them in. I said absolutely not. Her sister was a leech. Also, that I didn't want kids in my house. I work from home half the time and don't want 3 extra people in my space. Also, I don't want to get involved with her sister at all. I've supported her plenty over the last few years, rides, babysitting, etc., and I'm done. My girlfriend didn't take this well and said she would help her sister if she could. I said fine, let me know where you take her and I'll bring by some food, but it won't be my house. My girlfriend tried saying it was her house too, but I said when she started paying the mortgage, she can decide who lives here. So her sister tried calling me individually and I told her the same reasons and told her I'd bring food by when she finds a place. I also gave her the number of multiple organizations that could help her. She got offended. Well, I was at work yesterday, sales, and I noticed on my Ring camera Anna/her kids unlocking my front door with a bag on her shoulder. I called my girlfriend and asked her immediately what was going on. She said Anna needed a place to go for a few hours while her ex moved out of the apartment. I asked how she got in the house as I locked it. Ashton said she made Anna a key months ago in case she ever needed to get in. I was furious and told her to tell Anna to get out or I'll be calling the police. Ashton called and Anna left, but not before calling me an a-hole. So I decided today to change the locks and get a new garage access code. Ashton will have to request through the garage and I will give access. Ashton is upset, but I told her that this is gonna be the way it is until her sister finds a place. Because I can't trust I won't come home and find 2 kids and a woman living in my house. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, and in my opinion, you need to think seriously about your relationship with Ashton. The fact that she went behind your back is a major red flag. I wouldn't make any rash decisions, but she's violated his trust in a big way here. Forgiving this once or twice is possible, but beyond that, it's game over. I don't think I could forgive the copying of my key without my knowledge or permission. Not the a-hole, but I think you need to reevaluate if you can trust Ashton. She way overstepped boundaries by making her sister a key without your permission. Yep, when my boyfriend had a roommate, he consulted him about getting me a key to the apartment if I wanted to get in when they weren't home. His roommate said he'd rather I didn't have a key, but didn't mind if I was already there when they left. That was respected because it was a shared living space. Not stay home. If she wasn't working when she lived with a boyfriend, what's going to make her work when she lives in your house? Exactly the point I made. Anna has a job currently, but I don't think she manages her money well. Your girlfriend is the bigger issue, I'm afraid. Despite your very clear hell no, she still tried to get the sister into your place. She clearly doesn't care that you are opposed to this. She's gonna keep trying. You may need to lose the girlfriend if you can't get her to stop enabling the sister. But do you really want to deal with that crap forever? Time to sit down and make it clear. Stop enabling sister or leave. Next story. Am I the a-hole for likely making my mother lose custody of my siblings? In 2018, my mother got married to the man she was cheating on my dad with for years. This already put a serious dent in the relationship I had with her. I moved out shortly after my stepdad moved in since he thought he suddenly owned everything in the house, including my work computer, PlayStation 4, etc. A few months after moving out, my brother, 18, called me in the middle of the night because our stepdad threw him out for stealing money and catching him in possession of hard drugs, all of which were and still are lies. I already had minimal contact with my mother by that point, and the day my brother moved in with me, I was met with a barrage of texts and calls of my stepdad that I had to bring my brother back with the money or else he'd come get him. I told him to shove it and try me. Fast forward until last year, they divorced because, surprise, he stole the money. He was also an alcoholic and an addict, and admitted to planting the substances in my brother's room. After the divorce and getting a restraining order, he started harassing neighbors. Showed up in the garden in the middle of the night to look inside their windows. Showed up at my sister's school. She's 12 at a time. She's still in therapy over this. It was also discovered that he's blacklisted in every bank in the country from starting loans because of massive debt. The relationship with our mother started healing a bit after this. Through our younger brother, we found out she wasn't home for 3 days straight. So my 18-year-old brother called her, and after some beating around a bush, She tells him he's with our ex-stepdad again. My brother hangs up and texts me this. After subduing my rage, I ask my 16-year-old brother and younger sister, now 14, if they still want to live there. They both say no, and I tell my father. About a week later, she served legal documents that state my father is trying to get full custody of my siblings because of my mother's actions. And according to her own lawyer, there's a high chance she'll lose them. She calls me in panic, and I tell her it's her own fault. She starts crying and screaming that I should be happy that she finally found true love. I ask her if it's worth it to lose all of her children over this, and she responds with insults towards me, my brothers, and my now fiancé. I tell her to never contact me again and hang up. I haven't heard from her since, but I've heard from other people that she's heartbroken that she's about to lose her children. But she's also blaming us and telling everyone that her kids don't want her to be happy and are always on their dad's side. Now, I'm not asking whether or not I'm the a-hole for cutting her out of my life. I'm fairly convinced it's the best thing for me personally. But I think I might have gone a little too far in giving my father more ammo, on top of what he already had, to take my siblings from my mother. I think it's the best for them. I just want to look out for them. So am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's great that your younger siblings have someone looking out for them. I couldn't add the following information because of the character limit, but my father also looks out for us a great deal. He isn't trying to just get custody to stick it to my mother. He just can't do much without it going through legal channels, because my mother screwed him over pretty bad during the divorce with lies and things that never happened. Well, your mom is now learning that the truth hurts. You've done nothing wrong. Children need to be protected, and you don't leave them at home alone to fend for themselves. Your sister is still in therapy after what happened when she was 12, and your mom disappears for 3 days to spend it with her abuser? OP, thank you for protecting your younger siblings. They need to get out of there. OP, I saved orphans from a burning building, but the arsonist is upset I spoiled her fun. Am I the a-hole? Just in case I end up at the top, not the a-hole. That actually gave me a good laugh. Thank you. When you put it like that, yeah, screw the arsonist. Sarcasm finally saves the day. I do know the world is messier, and until your father wins, this might get worse. But that doesn't mean you're not doing the right thing. Not to mention, there might be reasons your father didn't have any custody in the first place. Sorry though it might be, please help to make sure this isn't jumping from the frying pan into the fire. Go you. As far as I'm aware, the reasons why my mother got custody is because of a traffic misdemeanor that her lawyers used to label him as a criminal, and some other things that were blatant lies. But she was somehow able to convince the court that these claims were true. Our father let me look at all the legal documents of the divorce during the proceedings, because he thought he owed his children full transparency. I haven't caught him in a single lie on anything. He always tells how it is. He looks like the typical biker dude, tall, burly, tattoos, but he's an absolute sweetheart that always looks out for his children. He has always taken us before anything else. He even sold his motorcycles for my brother to be able to pay for college as a gift. There's not a single bad bone in his body. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that if her sister and brother-in-law need a place to stay, they can live in a camper? My wife and I have been married for 4 years and live on a hobby farm I purchased before we started dating. We have just under 15 acres of land, grow our own food, and have some chickens, goats, and pigs. I've also spent a lot of time and money updating and renovating the house, quite a bit of which my wife has helped with over the years. One of the upgrades we did was to redo the guest bedroom and bathroom. It's quite nice. Now, my sister-in-law and her husband recently fell in hard times. From what I've heard, it was about 50% bad luck and 50% bad decisions on her husband's part. As a result, they and their 3 kids are currently living in a motel. My wife brought up the idea of having them come stay with us until they get on their feet, but I haven't been too enthusiastic about the idea. Her idea is to have sister-in-law and husband take the guest room, and the kids can sleep on the couches/cots in the living room. We don't have a 3rd bedroom for the kids. Now, I've always been child-free by choice. Just never wanted them. I don't hate them, but also don't necessarily want to live with 3 of them either, especially if it's an open-ended living situation. My counter was to allow them to live in my old pop-up camper I have on the property. It's about 10 years old, but it's in great shape as I store it inside. It has enough sleeping space for all of them. A shower and toilet, mini fridge, AC, and heat. In my opinion, it's a pretty sweet camper. Also, and this is a little selfish of me, but I feel it would give them their own space while giving them a place to stay. But it would also maybe be just uncomfortable enough for them to not want to permanently stay, and to give them motivation to find a better option. I also told her that if they stay with us, I would expect them to help out with some chores, even the older kids who are 12 and 14. My wife hates that idea, and can't believe I would force her family to stay outside in the elements, and put them to work when we spent all the time and money to redo the spare bedroom. I told her that unless sister-in-law can give me a concrete move-out date, I don't want them and their kids living in our house indefinitely. She told me that they don't know the first thing about camping or farm work, and they need to focus on getting their lives straight and not worry about anything else. I told her that these are the conditions under which I am comfortable with them staying with us, and I'm not budging. She told me I am being a jerk and unreasonable and that she never expected this kind of behavior from me. The way I feel is that we are doing them a favor, and if we let them stay in the house, the temptation for them to get too comfortable is a lot greater than if they stay in the camper. I understand this could be seen as even a downgrade from living in a motel, but beggars can't be choosers. Not stay home. Open-ended guest situations almost never work out well. Even a newly and nicely renovated guest room is for guests that will be there for a defined time. A living room is a fun place for kids to crash for a visitor sleepover, not for an open-ended living situation. The camper seems like exactly the kind of compromise that anyone should be happy with. It is a lot of stress and really uncomfortable when you have to finally ask them to leave too. It tends to burn bridges. I am totally on the same page as you about the nice newly renovated guest room. In my family, we joke that we like to make the guest rooms comfortable, but not too comfortable so guests leave. Not stay home. It's a very nice offer, and they aren't in the elements. Beggars choosers, blah blah. Honestly, if I had to stay at someone else's home for an indeterminate amount of time, I'd love to have a camper van. It's nice not having to be at attention all the time with your host, and to have your own space where you don't feel like you're bothering them. Not having to share facilities for everything is much better. Am I the a-hole for making my stepsister and stepmom look for my lost necklace? I, 17 female, have a necklace that was made for me by a friend who does wire wrapping. It's the prettiest thing I own, and my friend moved last year, so it's my memory of her. My dad married his girlfriend last year, and her daughter of 15 female and I don't get along. She's annoying and whines about everything. She always wants to borrow my stuff and then loses or breaks it or something. My stepmom just enables that and gives her whatever she wants to shut her up. It's dumb. Anyway, she really likes my necklace, but I won't let her touch it because I know how she is. She wanted to wear it with an outfit for her birthday party at her dad's a week ago, and I said no. So she whined to her mom, who told me to let her wear it to keep the peace. I told my dad, and he said I didn't have to let her wear it. So I didn't. On the day of the party, though, I noticed it's gone from my jewelry box, and stepmom admits she took it and let my stepsister wear it since it was so important to her. I was so mad. I was going to just tell my dad, but he was away for work for a couple of days and I decided to wait till he got back. Stepsister said she would give it back the next day, but I saw it on the floor of the bathroom that night and took it back before it could get broken. I decided to teach her a lesson, so I hid it and then asked for it back the next day. She couldn't find it, so her mom and her went through her room from top to bottom trying to find it, and when they couldn't, stepmom said she would buy me a nicer one to replace it. But I just told her she can't replace something my friend made, and she stole something my dad already said I didn't have to share, and this is why I don't like either of them. My dad came home and found out what happened. It had a big fight with stepmom about it, that now they're sleeping in separate rooms. Stepsister is grounded. I'm planning on finding the necklace because the point is made. Most of my friends think it's deserved, but a couple think I should have just told my dad and not made them look for a necklace I already had back. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. Your stepmom is an a-hole for allowing her daughter to steal your items. That was a handmade gift from a friend. Your father definitely needs to know how horrible his wife treats you, and how she lets her daughter mistreat you as well. If her daughter wanted a necklace so badly, her mom should have gone out and bought her one herself if it was so important that she had to wear it. Is this petty? Yes. Yes, it is. But in my opinion, you are justified a-hole in this case, since not only did they steal from you, then your stepsister was so irresponsible with your necklace. Edited to add, OP, is there any way you can sneak the necklace out of your house and have the friend who made it, or someone else you really trust not to say anything, keep it at their house, so your steps don't snoop in your room to find a hiding place for it? Gloriously petty. I like it, OP. Not stay home. Not stay home. This was necessary in this situation and it got your point through. They should have listened to you in the first place, but make sure you know where you found it so they can't get annoyed. I hope they learn to leave your things alone in the future. Just a bit of advice for the future. Most of my friends think it's deserved. When you do stuff like this, don't tell anyone. Your friends could tell someone who then tells your family. Then the crap will hit the fan and you will get in trouble. Learn how to keep a secret. 2 people can keep a secret when one of them is dead. Not stay home. It was taken without your permission and against the wishes of your dad, then was just dumped on the bathroom floor. I'd be inclined to say it maybe went a little too far, but actually if it could mean the stepmom won't enable her daughter so much in the future, it might work out okay in the long run. Next story. Am I the a-hole for taking back my gift and refusing to return it? This happened over Christmas and I'm still getting heat over it. I love knitting and crochet. It's my thing. This year, with COVID and all, money's been tight. So I decided to knit a Christmas gift for everyone using yarn I already had. Everyone already agreed to only do kid gifts, so I made small stuffed animals, unicorns and dragons in different colors. It was my first time doing this and all the best patterns are crochet, which I'm not as comfortable with, so it took months to make them all. I didn't mind though. It was fun to learn something new, and a good way to use up some of my enormous stash. All my side were happy, or polite enough to act happy, with the gifts. The problem was with my husband's families. His sisters immediately started making snippy, sarcastic, but kind of indirect comments about me being cheap/lazy. Niece didn't seem to like it either, and said some things that, yes, I get that she's a kid, but my feelings were still pretty hurt. There's a history of this sort of thing, so maybe I'm too sensitized to this, but I angrily took the gift back and handed her some cash, which made things really awkward, and we left shortly after. The big problem happened when Niece realized that all her cousins got matching stuffies, and so she wanted hers back. I already gave hers away, and I refused to make another one. Apparently, she's crying that I broke her heart, but I'm finding it hard to care because I'm still hurt by how she and her mother behaved. They have not apologized either yet, but expect me to. My husband thinks I should make her another one, and should have overlooked the comments in the first place. I told him that he's in charge of his family's gifts from now on, which is apparently petty. Now everyone, including husband, is mad at me except his stepdad and sister. My family is, obviously, on my side, but that's just making things worse. I get that snatching the gift back and flinging money at my sister-in-law's face. Their words, I don't think I did, but have been overly dramatic and rude. But am I an a-hole for it for being pushed too far? Edit. I was told I should mention that Niece is around 11 to 12 years old, and that I didn't literally snatch the toy out of her hands like my sister-in-law claims. Niece had tossed it away, so I picked it up. Not stay home. Entitled children grow into entitled adults. We damn sure don't need any more of those. I tell the sister-in-law that maybe she should have had some respect and taught her child respect, and should have the matching stuffy. As someone who actually does crochet, making that stuff is both time-consuming and still expensive because of the materials going into it, even if it's yarn you already have. Not stay home at all. I'd be happy to get a handmade gift. Not stay home. OP, Hubs should handle the gifts for his side of the family and you deal with yours. That is 100% normal and okay. Sounds like Hubs just expects you to do all the labor and have zero responsibility himself. That's BS. Yep, I noticed several issues in this post, and this one is one of them. Yeah, The husband puts in no effort, takes no responsibility, allows his wife to be insulted, blames the wife for his sister-in-law's behavior, demands his wife apologize when she did nothing wrong, then calls his wife petty because after all of this, she says he should take responsibility for gift giving for his family. He is a super a-hole. Although I get the feeling if hubby was in charge of the gifts for his side, he would blow the entire household budget on his family just to make himself look good, and not worry about Opie or her family getting anything. It would make life easier if he would buy their gifts, because they always love whatever he gives them. Sometimes I would buy things and let him say he bought them, and they never complained. But this year we couldn't afford much, and everyone knows he doesn't knit/crochet, so it was obvious who they were really from. He wants to go back to the old arrangement, but I don't want to anymore. Edit 2. Thanks to everyone who responded. I'm sorry I can't reply to you all. I've tried showing this post to my husband and unfortunately, it went not well. He's upset over me making our private things public, which I understand, but still his reaction seemed disproportionate. I didn't want to bring my family into this because they already don't like him, but I'm staying with my sister for a bit. I don't know what to do. Sorry if I'm not responding much anymore. There's just too much else I need to think about now, I guess. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for deciding to ban my in-laws from their future grandkids? Me, 22 female, and my husband, 27 male, are married for 3 years, and we're discussing having children. We have pretty good relationships with my husband, but 2 years ago, he decided to move his parents to our city due to the health reasons. I totally supported him, but said I'll not be comfortable with them living too close from us. Is that okay? In 3 months from this conversation, I found out that he secretly made a deal with our next-door neighbor to buy his land for his parents. Money's theirs. I was furious to say the least, but he promised that they'll move to their house right away and won't live with us. He promised it'll be great. I went with it and even supported our family financially while he was building their house instead of working. In 3 months, it turned out they live with us for 1.5 months. It was a hell for me. After 2 weeks, my mother-in-law, 46 female, started to bully me while my husband was at work. She insulted my career choice. I was at 4th year of my bachelor's degree and had 2 jobs, one being connected with my degree, and my housekeeping skills. Later, she spilled that she blames me for her son leaving his well-paid job with military forces in countries with high risk of war actions. At that time, he helped them to close their credit bills. This was getting worse as I noticed their drinking problems. My husband had tried to talk to them, but it didn't work. My husband had noticed them being drunk too, even had problems with them as they insulted him. But on the next day, everything was fine. At that point, I was done with them and went no contact while my husband kept in touch. About 3 months ago, my husband and I started discussing having children, and I said I'm not comfortable with my in-laws being a part of our children's lives. He disagreed with me and said it should be our decision. I asked him to promise me that he won't take children to the in-laws when I'm against it. He refused. Then I asked him to sign the official contract that he will not organize them meeting our children. He refused. After many conversations, I agreed to talk to them and make things work. But it was horrible. When I asked why she treated me that bad, she said, as a mother-in-law, I have a right to demand children. Where are they? For all my questions about different encounters we've had, she said, it didn't happen and you are lying. Even when my husband said that these situations had happened, she hasn't acknowledged them and blew up and screamed, I apologize to you. I don't want to have the sin of pride. Then she demanded that I apologize too. I asked for what? And she screamed that I'm a liar and my family are liars. My husband supported me and apologized for his decision to move them in a house 5 meters across from us. So now I have no contact with the in-laws, but my husband does. And my decision about them being grandparents is still a big no. My husband chose to be silent about his decision. So am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, but run. Your husband has lied to you at every turn about his intentions with his parents. He has smiled to your face and done what he wanted all this time. Do not have children with this man. He is allowing his mother to mistreat you and approving it. Once you have children, you will never escape him. Make sure your birth control is never left where he or she can find it. If you can stay on an implant or IUD, something he can't get to, do so. Right? Just red flags all over the place. She will regret having children with this man for the rest of her life. Think about the poor kids in a situation like that. Baby, if you think your husband isn't going to go behind your back again, you're wrong. He lied and went behind your back once to move them in right next door. Now it'll even be easier for him to sneak any children over there. Twice. Once to move them next door and once to actually move them in for almost 2 months. It's like he purposely found out what boundary she had, negotiated it, and purposely went about trying to break it. But then blamed her / would make excuses for why his behavior was justified. OP, you are getting a glimpse into how your husband will parent any children you have with him. Please follow through with what you say, for him to learn the consequences of breaking your boundaries. Right now, there hasn't been, since he just keeps moving the goalposts, slowly moving you closer to feeling like nothing makes sense. And once nothing makes sense, you doubt yourself and actions, and then whatever it tells you, you have to believe, because you will feel like you can't trust your own actions. And now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for saying I don't remember how long I've been married? My husband, 42 male, and I, 40 female, have a very good and loving relationship. For the most part, he is a very helpful and engaged spouse and father. He cannot / will not remember the dates of important milestones. I plan and organize the kids' birthday months in advance, and he participates. I spent the first few years of our marriage sulking about him forgetting my birthday, and since then I planned it out myself and let him know what I want as a gift. I remember my in-laws and close friends' birthdays, and greet them on my behalf, leaving him to manage his relationships with them on his own. And I do love him a lot, so I plan to celebrate his birthday. I know he'd forget it if I didn't do so. I gave up caring about Valentine's Day long ago. But to his credit, he is good about remembering and celebrating Mother's Day for me. He always forgets our wedding anniversary, and after 8 years of planning and having him simply participate, I left it on him to do something on this one event. He forgot it every year since then. We've been married for 13 years now, and we haven't celebrated our anniversary for the past 5 years. I've made my peace with that. We had a family gathering this weekend, and in a group conversation, someone asked my husband how long we've been married. He did this, "Oh, I don't know, wife keeps tracks of these things." And he and his siblings are all like, "Haha, typical husband." They asked me how long we've been married, and I did the same tone of, "Oh, I don't know. Who can remember? Haha." Everybody became a bit awkward, and husband looked upset at me. Later he asked me why I'd say that, and I said that we don't celebrate our anniversary, so it's not at the forefront of my mind. The realization that we haven't celebrated our anniversary in years came as a surprise to him. He pointed out that I remember how old our house is, how old our cars are, even how long he's had his laptop. He doesn't remember those things. So for me to not remember how long we've been married is showing everyone that my marriage is of much lower value to me. I said that instead of making his forgetfulness a point of contention, I chose to be like him and not track the age of our relationship, and he should be accepting of that. I may be the a-hole since I do remember how long we've been married, but I'm pretending not to because if he can't bother to remember and celebrate, then I shouldn't be expected to either. Not the a-hole. This man may not remember much, but he does have the ability to buy himself a calendar and use it. It's not your job to care for the both of you. Or a smartphone. They remember anniversaries for you these days. Yep, I have all important dates in my phone's calendar. Even birthdays and anniversaries, even if I know when it is. It's just a reminder for the day of it, as I can get days mixed up sometimes. I bet he remembers his favorite sport team and a lot of numbers around that. He just doesn't care about the marriage and wife in the same way as something important. Not stay home. It's so incredibly tiresome. The expectation of being responsible for managing the household, while they have a free pass at not even recalling things as simple as a wedding anniversary. Being forgetful is one thing. Being uninvested is something else entirely. I think this is why the husband is upset. He just got hit with the reality that she could be as uninvested as he is. That's not something he was prepared for, though she's been dealing with it for years. It's not even that she is uninvested, it's just the potential, his new perception that she could be. Somehow it was fine for him in his mind, but a shaky reality if she's as bad as he is. He is not a kid in school. There are no participation trophies he'd want to put some effort in. He realizes they didn't celebrate for 5 years, but only after it becomes a matter of public opinion. He was embarrassed she didn't play the part he expected in front of people, to remember and assign that value while he got to play down his part in things. It came as a surprise to him. 5 years? Really? There is forgetful and there is willful ignorance. Everyone celebrates their relationship differently, but if they weren't married, sleeping in the same bed like sleeping in separate rooms, would they be considered just people sharing a house?